Hi, I'm Terry Peterman, the Internet Electrician, and today in our video short, we're going to talk about changing the pool light. Now, we've got one of the light niches in our pool, and last night when we arrived at our home here in Phoenix, Arizona, turned on the pool light, and turned on instantly and then off, so I knew right away we had a burned out bulb situation. Now, my son asked a question, and it's a logical one, is do you have to drain the pool to fix that light? And I don't think I would have known that myself. Back up in Alberta, Canada, we don't have a lot of outdoor pools, especially concrete pools, as the frost would heave them and crack them in the wintertime. So I actually didn't know the answer, and I wouldn't have known the answer, I should say, except that I installed the light in the hot tub when we had it constructed earlier, so I knew that it can be done with the water in the pool. So we're going to deal with that, changing the bulb in the pool. But the first thing, I realized I didn't even bring tools when I came down here. So off to Walmart I went, bought myself a nice little handy toolkit. Not your professional electrical toolkit, but it's got everything in it that you'll need for little do-it-yourself projects around the home on a smaller scale. So, we're off to the store. We're going to pick up a new light bulb and then come back and change this light in the pool. So as with any of my electrical projects, and the ones you do at home as well, safety comes first. So we've already gone back to the electrical panel, shut off the appropriate breaker, double checked, made sure the switch is dead with my meter. So now we can start working on the light fixture, which is down at the end of the pool. So here's the light at the end of our pool, and the question about draining the water is a good one because it's down about, 1.5 feet, 2 feet below the surface of the water. These light housings are designed, of course, for the pool installation, and the bulb is inside a watertight enclosure, and then there's a long cord on it that allows you to pull the whole enclosure up out of the water to do your bulb change. Now earlier I went down and got the right bulb. I'd had to pull this out, pull this apart, and get the correct bulb for this housing. So I've got the new bulb. I'm just going to show you how we go about changing the light. There's one screw to remove under the water level, and then you can pull the whole housing out. So we'll start by removing that screw. If you're having trouble finding the screw and making sure the screwdriver fits that particular screw properly, you can throw the goggles on and go underneath and you get a good view of it. But right now, I'm pulling out the whole light housing. Notice how the cord is nice and long so we can get it up on top of the deck to work on. So I don't know if you can see that, the housing. It's got a screw here that holds a bezel, that holds the rubber ring and the front grill onto the light. So we've got to remove this screw, and then the whole thing comes apart. And when I went down to the pool store, they said make sure you inspect the rubber gasket, make sure there's no flat spots in it, make sure it's not deteriorated or cracked or broken. And I inspected it and it was fine. So there you've got the lens with the rubber gasket around it, and inside is where the bulb goes. So any water that might have dripped in, you want to wipe it out. Got the new bulb here. And again, it's a halogen bulb. You don't want to touch the bulb itself because oil from your skin can form on the surface and that attracts the heat and it can cause early bulb deterioration. So you don't want to touch the bulb. And another important thing is make sure you get the exact bulb for that fixture that's recommended in the literature with it, or just replace it in kind with the exact same bulb. These get very, very hot, so you can't even turn them on when they're outside of the water because a pool light relies on the water surrounding it to keep it cool enough to run. So again, being careful not to touch the bulb itself. I'm going to use a towel. Careful not to break the bulb, of course, so just snug, not too tight. There the bulb's in the socket. or the lamp, as some would say. Again, inspect your rubber gasket. Make sure there's no dirt on it. Make sure it hasn't deteriorated, no cracks, no flat spots. Back the gasket and the lens go on the housing. And then the outside bezel fits over top. Notice there's a marking for the top of the housing. There's also the one screw hole that mounts it back to the niche, and we'll show you that when we get with our underwater camera. We'll show you exactly how that's mounted inside the housing. So you want to line it up with the screw hole on the bezel with the sticker that says top here. Now this takes a little fumbling around to get this all back together nice and straight. It helped that I did it once, so I made a few mistakes that I could learn from in my trial change. Now you can see that I've got the screw hole lined up with the arrow. And another thing that'll save you some time is make sure that you get this screw that holds the housing all together and pinches the rubber gasket all together with the outside bezel to form that watertight seal. Make sure it's off to the side, because otherwise if that screw was up top here, you're going to have trouble getting your housing screw back in. So you tighten that screw and we're ready to reinstall the fixture housing inside the main housing. Okay, so I've just finished tightening up that screw. That compresses the rubber gasket. You have to check and recheck to make sure that your light fixture is centered inside of the frame. And then you know your gasket is going to form a good tight seal. So I think we're ready to reinstall it. What you want to do is you want to wrap the cord around the outside of the fixture. There's a hook on the bottom here that you can see hooks into a little notch in the bottom of the frame of the housing, and then the one screw on the top, as we've shown you before, that holds it into the housing. So wrap the cord all around. If you check one of my blog entries is when I installed the light niche in the spa when it was under construction. So these light niches are fed or connected with a piece of brass conduit all the way back to the light panel. And then that cord goes inside of the conduit right into the panel. Okay, I think I've got it hooked into place. Now I'm going to put on my little goggles and go underwater and put that screw back in. Well, that includes another one of our video shorts on current topics. This one partially underwater in a series of many to come. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out our website at www.electrical-online.com. I'm Terry Peterman, the Internet Electrician.